Like when my mom goes to Nigeria, I'm like, Mom, don't forget the tiger nut. Don't forget the tiger nut because I love tiger nut. Welcome back to Magically Living TV. I'm your girl Stella, and today I want to talk to you all about 5 things, or should I say 5 foods, that we tend to consume way too much. Especially as people with sickle cell disease, it is crucial, it is important that we just try to maybe avoid, eliminate, or just decrease the amount of times we eat this food, right? So these are 5 foods that are white that we tend to eat over and over and over again. And I just want to talk to you all about how it hurts our cells, how it causes inflammation, how it causes sickling of the cells, how it kills off healthy red blood cells. So if that is something that is of interest to you, let's jump right into it. The first food on my list is something that we grew up eating. We love it. We can eat it over and over and over and over. A lot of us is not tired of it. We have it with mac and cheese. We have it with greens. We have it with chicken. Yep, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, that is white rice. So white rice, I know it tastes good. I know it's easy to digest, and that's why a lot of us love it. If you have gut problems, it's easy for the food to just easily digest without you feeling pain in your stomach and feeling like hurt. But I do want to let you know that this food, this white rice that we're eating it too much. And because we're eating it in excessive amounts, it is harming our healthy red blood cells. So it is making our cells sickle at a faster rate because we eat it way too much. It is causing inflammation in our blood, in our body. And ultimately, white rice, honestly, it just turns to sugar because it is a carbohydrate. It goes from white rice, and once it digests and it's in your blood, it turns to sugar. And we know that sugar is really not good for us when we're living with sickle cell disease, right? You can have everything in moderation, right? So I'm not saying cut all these foods out and don't eat them, but I am trying to let you know the effects so that you can adjust your diet. White rice, as I stated, is high in sugar. It lacks the essential minerals that we need and the essential vitamins that we need, right, on a day-to-day basis. And also, it doesn't have any fiber. So there's not enough fiber in white rice. So if that is something that you consume every day, you're not getting enough fiber unless you're like supplementing it with other things. So I do want to name some alternatives that you can indulge in and not feel guilty about. So the first one is quinoa. Quinoa is rich, it has vitamins, it has fiber, it has all the things that we need for our digestion and overall, just for our blood. Next up, we have brown rice. Again, brown rice, just like quinoa, is in that family, that fiber family, right? It's good for you and it will help you if you are someone who is living with sickle cell disease. Another rice alternative that I haven't tried yet, but I'm interested in trying this, is couscous. So those are 3 alternatives that I just gave you, and I hope that you've either tried it before. If you have tried it before, leave a comment below, and if you are willing to try it, let me know which one you're willing to try, because I'm willing to try couscous. I haven't had it yet. It looks interesting. But I feel like if I find a restaurant that can cook it well, or if I find a recipe that I can follow and cook it and it comes out well, I wouldn't mind doing that. But as of now, I do eat brown rice, and I also do eat quinoa. And I wouldn't even say that that's something that I've always done, but it is something that I have done since I've been struggling with gallstones. And I've been able to decrease my gallstone flares because of the switch in foods. If you are liking this video so far, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The next food that I want to talk about is cow's milk. And although cow's milk has the calcium and the vitamin D that we need, too much of it actually causes mucus buildup. And mucus buildup is something that causes inflammation in the body. And too much inflammation in the body, you know where this goes, causes sickling of the cells. And sickling of the cells at a rapid rate causes you to be in a hospital, and we don't want to go to the hospital. We are trying to decrease long hospital stays. So because of that, it is important that we are consuming cow's milk at a lower rate. A lot of us eat cereal every morning. We eat cereal when we don't feel like cooking. Cereal is just our go-to, right? So not only are you eating cereal, which a lot of times is high in sugar, and it has all these ingredients in it that it's no longer cereal, to be honest with you. And then you're drinking the milk, the cow's milk, on a day-to-day basis that's contributing to sickling of the cells, which in the long run is contributing to sickness and you not being able to function properly or thrive, I would say, with sickle cell. Let's think about the foods that we're eating and let's find alternatives to those foods. Cow's milk also causes gas. It causes bloating. So if you notice, if you eat it too much, you notice that maybe you have discomfort in your stomach. Maybe you feel like, gosh, like my stomach was flat and now my stomach is so big. Yeah, so it does causes bloating. It causes an inflammatory response in your body, within your cells, in your blood. So again, we want to steer away from anything that's going to cause us excessive inflammation and is going to cause us mucus buildup. So my favorite alternatives to cow's milk would have to be almond milk. I love almond milk. You can drink it cold, you can drink it warm. It's one of those milk. It has the vitamins and the nutrients that you need. It's one of those things that is actually healthy because it's almonds, right? So you definitely want to lean for almond milk, oat milk, right? Tiger nut milk. You want to lean for those milks that are like natural, right? It's not coming from an animal. It's essentially coming from a plant. And that is always going to be a better option, right? Because unfortunately, we don't know if the cows are sick. We don't know where the milk is coming from, what they're feeding these cows. But a great thing about almond milk is that you can buy almonds from the store. You can get coconut and you can like make your own almond milk at home with a blender, with a strainer, and you have almond milk, right? So you can do the same thing with oats and you can do the same thing with tiger nut. And I absolutely love tiger nut milk. When my mom goes to Nigeria, I'm like, Mom, don't forget the tiger nut. Don't forget the tiger nut because I love tiger nut. And then the fact that like you can just make it into a milk and you can have that alone or you can put it in your cereal, right? It's so rich. It's so good. Like if you have had tiger nut milk before, please sound off below. I really need to know. I really need to know because I can't be the only one who love it. Like no way. And also, if you are lactose intolerant, if you have diarrhea, bloating, all those things that I've named, and you are lactose intolerant, plant-based milk is your way to go. And a great way for you to actually pick plant-based milk, if you're not making it at home by yourself, is to look for the milk that are simple ingredients, right? So Elmhurst has simple ingredients. I like that brand. And milk has simple ingredients, right? You don't want the gums, you don't want the oils, right? So we're looking for something that says almond milk, water, salt, because sometimes it has that. Almond milk, water, like literally simple ingredients. That's what you should be picking up when you are grabbing and looking for milk alternatives. So number three will have to be white sugar. White sugar is in a lot of the foods that we eat, right? Carbohydrates turns to sugar on its own. We also consume food that are high in sugar on a day-to-day basis. So it's very important that we are looking at the nutritional facts in the back of any food that we pick up, because the front can tell you it's organic, it has no added sugar, etc. And then you read the back and you see boop, 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 sugar, added sugar, 30%. Da-da. So we want to make sure that we are eliminating the amount of sugar intake that we are consuming, right? So we don't want to consume excessive amount of sugars. The problem is that nothing is essentially wrong with sugar, but what is wrong is the excessive amount of sugar. Like I said, because it is in almost everything, and because we like to snack, we like to eat things that taste good, right? A lot of times we are consuming an excessive amount of sugar. And sugar increases the risk of diabetes. It hinders your kidneys, so it could cause kidney problems. It could cause gut problems. Again, food that has high sugar lack essential nutrients that we need. So it is important that we steer away from sugar. Sugar also kills off healthy red blood cells. Sugar causes inflammation. So if you are consuming a high amount of sugar, you're going to notice that you probably have more crisis pain. You're probably often in the hospital. You probably have longer hospital stays, right? And you have to think about it like, what am I doing? What am I doing that is contributing to this? And oftentimes it's going to be the things that we're eating. If as sickle cell warriors, we can just make that change and change the little things. So eliminating the amount of sugar that we eat, right? Drinking more water, things of that nature. If we can do that, we will see that we're able to thrive more with sickle cell. And no, I'm not saying that you're automatically going to be healed. You're no longer going to have pain. You're no longer going to need your medications. Nope, I'm not saying that. But everything starts with what you put into your body, right? Because what you're putting into your body is feeding your cells, is feeding your blood, right? So we want to make sure that we're just doing what we can so that we can thrive with sickle cell. And you'll notice that there's a lot of sugar in like processed foods, right? Ultra processed foods. So if you eat a lot of canned foods, right? If you eat a lot of frozen foods, right? I'm not talking about fish that is frozen. No, I'm talking about frozen ultra processed foods, like foods that are already prepackaged. All you got to do is like heat it up and you can eat it, right? Like those fast foods, those are ultra processed foods, and those foods tend to have a high sugar intake. So you do want to make sure that you limit the amount of soda you're drinking, the amount of candy you're eating, chips, and ultra processed foods. If you're looking for sugar alternatives, I definitely like to lean into the honey. So honey, manuka honey is a great one. Cane sugar, right? Dates sugar. Those are natural sugars. And then you also have like the agave as well that you can use as a substitute for sugar. Number 4 is white salt. Salt. We love things that taste good, child. We love food that tastes good. Don't nobody want to eat nothing that don't taste good. Okay? So I know it's probably hard for a lot of us to not put a little extra salt and pepper when we are, eating and cooking. As someone who is Nigerian, you got the Maggi, you got all these different seasonings that you can put. And honestly, they all have some form of salt in it. So we definitely want to make sure that we are decreasing our salt intake, because salt can have a negative effect on our blood cells. Consuming too much salt can cause dehydration of the cells, right? Too much salt is really not beneficial for us because we want to be hydrated. We don't want to be dehydrated. So if we're eating too much salt and that's causing us to be dehydrated, that's not really doing anything good for us. So too much salt leads to water loss. Water loss is also not good for us because, again, that goes back to the dehydration of the red blood cells. It increases blood pressure, and we don't want that. We don't want high blood pressure. We don't want hypertension. We don't want that. We want to stay clear of those things. And the only way for us to stay clear of it is to take care of our health. It also increases the risk of stroke, heart attack, and kidney problems. And we don't want that. We want to stay clear of anything that's going to have a negative effect on us and our body. Because at the end of the day, we're not trying to be sicker than what we are. We are trying to live a healthy, whole, vibrant life so that we can do the things that we want despite our sickle cell disease. So some of the things that we need to stay away from that has a lot of salt intake, again, is ultra processed foods. When you're cooking your own food, like, find alternatives to, your favorite seasonings, right? So at home, we like to use pink Himalayan salt, or we like to use sea salt because it's just a better alternative to white processed salt. And lastly, number 5 is white flour. Flour is a refined grain. It is in a lot of the foods that we eat. We use it to make bread, pasta. The list goes on and on. And white flour can cause nutrient deficiencies, which lacks essential fibers, vitamins, minerals, the list goes on. For someone who is living with sickle cell like myself, we need a diet that is rich in nutrients. So if we're eating a lot of white flour, we're not getting the amount of nutrients that we need for our blood and for our cells to thrive. White flour also causes inflammation, and we know inflammation is the root to a lot of our problems with sickle cell disease, right? If you have a high amount of inflammation in the body, you're likely to be in a lot of pain. You're likely to be fatigued, lethargic. You're likely to just have low energy. So if we want to up our energy, if we want to decrease the inflammation, and if we want to overall just have a better life, we do have to decrease our refined grains. White flour also contributes to weight gain. So if you notice that you eat a lot of white foods and white flour, and you're gaining weight, but you don't want to gain the weight, then you might want to think about limiting the amount of white foods that you're eating. In order for us to manage our sickle cell effectively, it's going to be to our benefit that we look for alternatives to white flour. So now the great thing is that there's so many different alternatives to white flour, right? We have coconut flour, there's almond flour, there is whole wheat flour. There's so many different alternatives out there to white flour that we can take advantage of. So there's no reason why we can't enjoy the foods we like, just with a little bit of modification to that food. So instead of using white flour, maybe you opt for the almond flour. So we have no more excuses of why we can't make health changes, right? And I think the key here is to not just eliminate everything, right? Because that can be hard on the body as well. You want to make sure that you are starting small. So small doses, right? You want to make sure that maybe this week you're switching out the salt, and maybe in 2 weeks time you're switching out your milk, right? So you want to make those small changes. You don't want to be aggressive and just do everything at once, right? Because your body is not used to that. Your body's going to be like, wait a minute, what are you doing? What are you doing? So you don't want that. You want to make sure that you're just taking it little by little, right? So hopefully this video is helpful to you. You find something in here that you can implement, right, in your routine, in your food, in your cabinet, in your refrigerator, something you can switch out. And that is the goal of Magically Living TV. My goal is to bring to you simple, holistic tips made easy for sickle cell warriors like you and me. Thank you for tuning into today's video. I'm your host, Stella. It's been a pleasure being here. I hope you learned a thing or two. And if you like this video, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time.